Hello everyone. As we say in South Africa, how's it? How's it? So basically, apparently, according to a lot of New York people, I sound like an Australian, and an Australian to a South African is a difficult translation to get. So hopefully, nothing gets lost in translation here. I want to talk about our story with Woothemes. Just to gauge who I'm speaking to here, who has used a Wootheme before? Excellent, wow, quite a few of you. And WooCommerce? Awesome. Okay, so basically I've titled this talk, We Want Shop Themes, the WooCommerce story. And it was a story about how our customers told us what they wanted, and we built it, and yeah, the journey we've been taken on. So Woothemes was established in July 2008. I was living in the UK at the time, and my business partners, well, then strangers, were Magnus Jepsen, who was living in Norway, and Adi Pinar, living in Cape Town, South Africa. We were all servicing clients, building custom WordPress templates based on the default WordPress theme at the time, which was just a blogging journal theme. And yeah, we believed there was opportunity to create commercial themes for WordPress. Back then, no one was really doing it. Brian Gardner at Studio Press, he was testing the market, and Adi Pinar in South Africa had produced a theme called the Revolution theme. Sorry, not the Revolution theme, that's Brian Gardner, the Premium News theme. And he got hold of me through my WordPress blog and asked me would I be keen to reskin his theme, and I did that, and that was the Gazette theme, and that was the start of our relationship together. At the same time, Magnus Jepsen got hold of Adi, found his Premium News theme, and said, hey, I want to reskin it. And the three of us became business partners. And yeah, so it was about 6 months of working together before we actually consolidated and created the company. And only 16 months later did we actually physically meet. So quite a journey, and quite a foreign concept to a lot of people outside of the WordPress space. So we make all sorts of themes now. We've got a catalog of about 80 themes, but at one point we had about 110, which we've retired themes over time. That is a hell of a lot of code bases to maintain. So over the time, we've got better at building a solid code base that we can replicate across all of our themes. This is one of our later ones called Stitched, which uses one of our free plugins called Projects, which allows you to showcase a portfolio on your WordPress site. So I think our early success was largely down to the designers that we collaborated with. As I said, we were three designers who worked together, and we each had our own unique styles, and that seemed to be very popular amongst our initial users. So based on that, we decided to reach out to some industry-leading designers. Elliot J. Stocks, who's now at Adobe Typekit, Tim Van Dam, who works at Dropbox, previously Instagram, Sarah Parmenter, who's one of UK's top web designers, and John Hicks, who, amongst other things, designed the Firefox logo. So back in 2008, 2009, we asked these guys if they would be keen to produce a theme for us in the form of a Photoshop design file. We would do all the heavy lifting. But yeah, we just basically wanted to take their design style and bring it to WordPress, and really lean on the audiences that they had. Working with these guys, they obviously told their communities and their audiences about what they'd built, and it was a great way for us to grow an audience fairly quickly. This is another one of our latest themes. It's a photographer's theme called Maximize. It's got a full homepage slider which presents your photos beautifully and integrates with the plugin I'm here to talk about today, WooCommerce. So now we've got themes that service all sorts of different niche industries, business themes, personal themes, portfolio themes, and WooCommerce themes. A lot of those are free themes. I think we've got about 12 free themes available. So if you want to test the waters with a Woo theme, you can do that free of charge. September 2011 is when everything changed for us. As I said, we'd been building all sorts of different themes and all sorts of niche functionality into themes, but the most commonly requested functionality was shopping cart facilities. And again, at the time, there weren't many people doing that. There was WP eCommerce that had been around for a while. And yeah, I think seeing it had been around for a while, it had quite a complicated code base and a lot of users, and it was quite difficult for them to iterate quickly. So we spotted a sort of gap in the market to build something brand new. And yeah, we wanted to be really agile in the development, so we launched with an MVP in September 2011. And it is now available in the WordPress repository. It's one of the top 10 WordPress plugins. It is available there, and it is also available on our website, woothemes.com/WooCommerce. For those who haven't used WooCommerce, as soon as you install it, the free plugin, it creates a new product type called products, and quite quickly you can add your digital or physical products to your WordPress site. If you're happy to use PayPal, within seconds you can get up and running and selling your products online. So you can publish your products. That was the back end and the front end. This is obviously theme driven, so this is one of our free themes. Shopping cart facilities. You can manage your orders, your payments, your tax, your shipping. It's now pretty comprehensive. It's also, as of 2.1, it's got some awesome reporting facilities, which are very useful for most merchants. So we've got many notable integration partners today. And yeah, I think this is one of our key differentiators, the amount of extensions that we've built. So WooCommerce, as I said, the core product is free, and the way we've commercialized it is through theme sales, but notably through extensions. So if you want a specific payment gateway, you can get that from us. If you are in South Africa and you want to integrate with the South African Postal Service, you can do that. You can integrate with fulfillment services, shipping partners, MailChimp. There's a hugely extensive extension database on our website. So, this slide, there we go. So this is the growth of WooCommerce that we've experienced since September 2011. We launched, obviously, with no downloads, 1 free theme, 6 official commercial themes, and 9 official extensions. Over time, it has grown and grown and grown, and we are sitting at WooCommerce 2.1 now, which has had 3.5 million downloads. And something we're really proud about is the amount of site installations. Just under 260,000 websites are running our shopping facilities, which basically is about 13% of all e-commerce sites online. So to think that we created an e-commerce plugin to sell e-commerce themes, and to think that we're now basically powering 13% of all e-commerce sites online, it has been a crazy journey. It now makes up about 85% of our revenues. Theming is a wonderful enabler, but we see it more as an enabler than a revenue channel for us now. We're concentrating wholeheartedly on WooCommerce. Whoa. So again, this sort of shows the growth of WooCommerce, where that dark red line that goes from naught to the top of the table there. And yeah, I mean, the data that we've got is using a site called BuiltWith, which is a scraper. It basically goes out and trawls the whole internet and tracks what technology is used on just about every website in the world. It's a pretty reliable source, but with us being in the repo and yeah, very proud of our sort of open source roots, we don't do much tracking from within the core product. We try and get information through our payment gateway integrations. We can track sort of revenue through PayPal, but we don't track much information about our actual use of WooCommerce. Again, this shows you WooCommerce, 12.73% of the entire internet. And yeah, having overtaken Magento, there's a massive other of 65%. That's largely custom e-commerce solutions that have been built. But I think Built With is still trying to analyze that data further. So supporting WooCommerce. 260,000 websites, a lot of them who have just downloaded our plugin, and we haven't had much engagement with them directly, but we support a hell of a lot of users, and it's a new breed of support for us at Woothemes. We're used to supporting quite simple requests of CSS, basic PHP, hooks and filters in our themes. Now it's supporting very specific e-commerce site requirements all around the world. So this picture is actually of Mike Krapp, who's our head of support. He's also a full-time fireman. It's part of our story that we're hugely proud about. He fights fires both physically and digitally. And he's an amazing character, and half the time he's answering tickets, he's actually sitting in a firehouse in Ohio. So he now manages a team of about 10 dedicated WooCommerce support officers who are in around 6 countries, and we're sitting at around 3,300 tickets a month specifically for WooCommerce. We've had quite a growing pain growing our WooCommerce support team. As I said, it's very technical in its nature. People who understand our product so well usually want to build on top of it for either clients or get on board of our development team. So we're trying to find that balance of people who are passionate about customer happiness as well as technical support. And usually those sort of people are hugely entrepreneurial as well. So we're trying to find a good fit for them within Woothemes. We've got a side projects policy where they can build extensions for us on revenue shares. And it's working out well, but it has been a real journey. As you can see, the ticket sales of last year versus this year, June obviously has taken a dip, but we're only halfway through June. But the numbers, even though our download count and our user count has increased, our support numbers are decreasing, and that's testament to Mike and his team. We use Zendesk for our customer support. And since 2.0, they've launched a new help desk solution with an extensive knowledge-based facility, so we can convert support tickets into knowledge-based items, tutorials. We're also working on our video library to make it as easy as possible. Our full team is now around 38. We're spanning 19 cities and 12 countries. I'm based in Cape Town with about 12 team, but that is the biggest hub. We've got a small physical office there, but everyone else is dotted all around the world. We've just come back from Chicago now, where we had our leadership meeting and attended WordCamp Chicago. So we try and stay in contact with each other using P2. Is anyone familiar with the P2 theme for WordPress? Quite a lot of you. So Jay Costa, one of the guys who brought WooCommerce to us, is a fantastically talented designer. He created a child theme for P2 called Houston, which is also freely available on our site and the WordPress repository. We think it makes it a lot sexier, and as you can see, we've got some custom widgets. Our team is forever engaging with each other there, as well as HipChat. We use HipChat to talk with each other daily. We use Google Hangouts to run all our meetings. We've got a little custom widget called the Kudos, where you can give kudos to your teammates for awesome things that you think they're doing. And at the end of each month, we reward them with vouchers. And we've got a release schedule. We've got API notes. and links to all our internal and external support facilities. So what's next for WooCommerce? Contributions is something that's really thriving at the moment and something we're really trying to encourage. On the latest version of WooCommerce, we had 249 contributors. So the open source freemium model that we've adopted with WooCommerce is working really well. There are a lot of people hugely passionate about extending our e-commerce platform, and there are a lot of people making a lot of money off extensions. It's usually those extension developers who want to contribute back to the core plugin. That is on GitHub. Anyone who wants to fork it, anyone who wants to contribute to it, more than welcome. So, as I said, there are a lot of third-party developers who are building for us. This is actually Brent Shepherd. He's an Australian living in San Francisco. We met up with him now in Chicago. Yeah, I thought this photo was quite cool. It's him flying with WooCommerce, of course, but he's actually plummeting to Earth, so hopefully that's not an indicator of what's happening. But yeah, he is responsible for our top-selling extension called WooCommerce Subscriptions, which allows you to sell subscriptions on your e-commerce store. Loads of people using this. It's a very exciting space. He's got some awesome things planned. He's got a team of 3 dedicated developers now, and I think he's hiring another at the moment. So it just shows how sustainable it is, building upon WordPress, but then building upon a niche upon WordPress. We launched this extension about a month and a half ago. It's already climbing our top sellers. It's called WooCommerce Bookings. And as I said, with WooCommerce, you can sell physical and digital products. This allows you to sell your time. So if you've got appointments, services, or rentals, you can install WooCommerce for free. You can install this extension. This is a commercial extension, but you can basically sell whatever you want from it. You can sell a combination of all those products. We've got a really cool video. I won't show it to you now, but if you go to WooCommerce Bookings on our site, you'll see how flexible that extension is. This is another one we're really excited about. 2.1, we launched the API for WooCommerce. At the moment, it's sort of read-only access to information. But with that, we're going to be launching WooCommerce iOS app, which should be launching hopefully by the end of the month, which will give merchants, store owners, access to their reporting facilities, their orders, their top sellers, their product information, all from their phone on the fly, which for us is hugely useful. We're constantly logging into our site, trying to track revenues. To be able to do that from your phone, we believe is going to be hugely exciting. With WooCommerce 2.2, which should be also launching within the next couple months, that API is going to be push and pull, and we expect to do some cool things with this app. You can just imagine taking a photo of your product, adding all your information, and sending it straight to your website. There's also, hopefully, space within extensions and add-ons on top of our iOS app. So, as I said, I've come from South Africa, and in South Africa, we've obviously built some specific extensions for store owners there. A lot of them built in-house by our South African team. These are largely payment gateways, and as I said, the South African Postal Service. And as you can see, because of those extensions, we have a much bigger uptake of WooCommerce in South Africa, 1,895 sites. In the overall scheme of things, that's not much, but we're super proud of how it is growing. You can see Kenya, 110 sites. Nigeria, which actually is the fastest growing and the biggest economy in Africa, only having 70 sites, and 100 sites in the rest of Africa. So this truly shows the potential in the extension space. We're at the tip of the iceberg at the moment. There's so much more space that we can work in making this e-commerce system available to people all around the world. as I said, I was in Chicago last week. We were at WordCamp Chicago, but we were also at this event, IRCE. So Woothemes has always been very active within the local WordPress space in South Africa, but also around the world. A lot of our ninjas organize WordCamps and meetups, but this was our first sort of experience with a proper big trade show. They said there were about 12,000 people there. It's the biggest e-commerce event in the world, and we had a tiny little store in the far left corner there. And yeah, tracking our fantastic growth within WordPress. Obviously plays nicely with everyone's egos, but you go to something like this and you realize how far we still have to go and how ambitious we now are. I think at all of these small booths, there was advertising banners showing their integration partners, all of them listing the big players, Magento, Shopify, BigCommerce. And our big goal next year is to get WooCommerce on those. We saw a handful of them, and what was really reassuring for us was the amount of partners that came up to us and said, we want to integrate with you guys. A lot of them we're going to be building in-house, but there's a lot of opportunity for extension development there. Another thing we're very excited about is our first conference, our own conference, WooCommerce. It's going to be in San Francisco. We've just signed the conference venue, 969 Market, brand new conference center in San Francisco on the 3rd of November. We're hoping to attract store owners as well as developers. It's probably going to be a 2-day event, 1-day conference and 1 day of workshops. We're also proud of organizing WordCamp Cape Town. If you guys are ever in South Africa, try and make it around October. We actually have our WordPress event in the stadium. We don't quite fill that. We have about 450 people in there, in the suites. But it's an amazing venue, an amazing city, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys there. So that is my presentation. Yes?
You mentioned that it's going to be a few months before your API has back and forth capabilities. Do you have any estimates on this being a little more specific on what that be expected?
So that's all dependent on 2.2, which is in the hands of Mike Jolly. But we have a development blog for WooCommerce. I think it's develop.woocommerce.com, and you can track the progress there. I've been told in the next 2 months.
WooCommerce already installed, right? Do they come with the plugins already installed? The themes?
They don't come with the themes installed. No, you'd install it like you would any other plugin. You can search for it from your WordPress plugin dashboard, install WooCommerce, the plugin engine, and then you can go to our site, sign up for a free account, and download one of our free themes from there. There are hundreds of themes available on Theme Forest now. I think that was quite a surprise for us that, it wasn't something that was ever sort of intentional. We thought we'd be selling loads of shop themes. We didn't think other commercial theme providers would be building on top of our platform, and that's really opened the doors for us. If you look at Theme Forest and the amount of sales, specifically WooCommerce sales, there are a lot of people making good money off that. We've got probably about 40 or so WooCommerce commercial themes on our site. Yes?
The challenge is supporting a free plugin that's downloaded 3 million times. And essentially you don't have to at this point, so you can download it, not buy it, actually go to PayPal. How do you support that?
That's a good question. Did everyone hear that? So basically, how do we support this when it's the freemium model and we've got so many free users, and obviously we only support officially the commercial users. We really are trying to encourage as much community development, and we go into the WordPress specific forums on the plugin repository page, but we've yeah, with the latest version of Zendesk, we've got community forums on our site. We've got dedicated staff that go in there. We obviously have to be quite cautious as to the level of support we provide, as to not create expectation, but we try and direct people to the right resources that we have. And yeah, we're seeing definitely an increasing number of people going in there, helping out other customers. We've got an affiliated WooWorkers program, which is basically a directory of developers and designers who are fluent in WooCommerce and doing client work on top of WooCommerce. If any of you are WooCommerce developers or designers and want to find out more, it's one of the footer links on our website. And yeah, we're driving a lot of work to these guys, and in return, a lot of them are giving back by helping people in the community. Yeah, obviously, helping them with some free support often leads to a client project for them. Yeah.
The largest WooCommerce store.
Yeah. So, like we said, we've got quite superficial data on specific use cases, but we've got a lot of people who are proudly sharing their information with us. There's a really big Egyptian bookstore that's got 34,000 products, which definitely proves the scalability of WooCommerce. We always say WooCommerce is as scalable as your WordPress site, and that depends on your hosting, really. Woothemes itself, we don't have nearly that amount of products. We've got about 500 products on the site, but we've got close to 1 million registered users on it, and a hell of a lot of metadata on those users and order data. So we're eating our own dog food, and I think, yeah, when we started doing that, we launched WooCommerce and we only started using it ourselves about 6 months later. But we've learned a lot through our own site installation, and yeah, it's definitely helped the scalability of it.
As far as performance, what is like the one bottleneck when you do scale up the products? Is it the host? Is it caching? And what really? Because I tried it 2 years ago and I started really slowing down as I added a lot of products. I'm getting a lot of performance since then. Yeah. But I was wondering.
Yeah, I'd say hosting and caching. Usually it's hand in hand. We definitely recommend, the popular caching tools, Total Cache. But yeah, spend good money on your host. It is the lifeblood of your website. We use WP Engine, WordPress Specialist, but there are a lot of other ones out there. We've got recommended hosts. Again, one of our footer links is recommended hosts who have dealt with a lot of big WooCommerce sites.
Did you say anything about the server at WP Engine, like how much RAM and?
I'm the wrong person to ask about that. Yeah, I know we were on a dedicated server and they're moving us to sort of a cluster now. But yeah, I couldn't tell you the specifics. Yeah.
I think about a month ago, I was notified that you guys had some data compromised. And you're using your own platform for sales. Are there any chances that there's kind of vulnerabilities in all of these thousands of stores and that their credit card data is in fact be compromised?
That's a very valid question, but yeah, we had a credit card leak about a month ago. It was a very advanced attack on our site specifically, and it was nothing to do with WooCommerce. We still don't know the exact entry point, but we've been scanned by security, as well as we're having a PCI investigation conducted at the moment. And yeah, there's no proof whatsoever affecting WooCommerce, and there's no ways that can affect anyone else's WooCommerce site. We've since moved to PayPal offsite as a precautionary measure on our site specifically. But no, we haven't seen it affect anyone. Yeah. The which one, sorry? Yeah.
Is that purely for individual
allow you to create a booking site, so like you want to create a site to allow multiple individuals to book, almost like a sort of
Yeah. So
you know what I'm saying? That's instead of like a personal blog having a booking appointments or having a larger community to book.
yeah, so I mean, it's an MVP definitely, but it is hugely flexible in the way it's been built. It was built by Mike Jolly, the guy who built WooCommerce, so the best developer on it. And yeah, I mean, we've seen quite a few different use cases, a lot of B&Bs, small boutique hotels, and then, yeah, dentists, business coaches. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the video on the site, but it truly shows how flexible the use cases are. There are a lot of parameters you can set around that booking, number of people, the resources attributed to that booking, the specific type of, room types or whatever it may be. We've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can always try the product, and if it doesn't work, then we'll definitely refund you. BuddyPress. I'm not too familiar with BuddyPress myself, but I know there are integrations. I don't know if we've got anything listed on our site, but if you search WooCommerce BuddyPress on the repository, I'm sure you'll find some links there.
Take one more question.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how you manage workflow across time zones, especially like earlier on when you were like a little understaffed and most of the time?
Yeah, so we're in just about every time zone now. We've got quite a big team in America, but obviously America has many time zones compared to South Africa, which has just the one. HipChat has worked out really well for us. We previously always used to chat on Skype, but obviously stuff would quickly just disappear in a massive log of communication. HipChat, like sort of IRC, which a lot of developers still use, allows you to really go through the archives and HipChat, H-I-P chat. Yeah. So that's worked out really well for us. Yeah, the support team using Zendesk, that's also really good at managing that collaboration within the support space. But yeah, I mean, that hasn't really been one of our growing pains. I think it's benefited us having everyone in different time zones so that we can get back to customers as quick as possible. Organizing meetings where we want the whole team together, on the other hand, is quite difficult. We have a town hall meeting on Google Hangouts. We try and do that once a month, but our development team is scattered across the world, so we try and find one time that's the most convenient for everyone. Awesome. Thanks, guys.